it is so good to see you. I hope that you've been doing well. I know I have, as you can see, wearing the hair straight. It's taking a little bit of getting used to. I got it cut, so I'm really enjoying kind of the change up because it's been a long time since I've worn straight hair. And I'm also getting back into the swing of things because I was out of town all weekend for weddings, field trips, and whatnot. So can you believe 10 months into paying that palette this year? home stretch, y'all. So I wanted to come on here and give you an update as far as where I am with my Pro palette, and I'm also continuing to just pan through LORAC shadows. I'm using my Mega Pro palette and my Pro 2 because if you're missing shades from your Pro palette, if you're panning right along, you can have some duplicates out of your Mega Pro palette, and you can also sub in things from your Pro 2 palette. In fact, I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit before we get into the updates. I'm gonna miss the Pro palette when it's gone. In fact, dare I say, it's a little bit frustrating to me that they pan so quickly for each shadow because they're powdery, they're buttery, and just hot mess express all over the place. But I've really fallen in love with the color selection of these palettes. So I don't know, it's kind of making me take a second look at the Mega Pro 2. I don't know. It's something I'm gonna have to think about, but I've really been impressed with the shades that I've learned to fall in love with, like garnet, deep purple even, you know, mauve, and those were shades that I would not have reached for on my own outside of panning this palette. And I honestly feel like I might even like this a little bit better than the Naked palette, even though the Naked palette you get a lot more bang for your buck per pan of eyeshadow. I don't know. Just kind of thoughts, comment below. I'd like to see what you think because I have been enjoying my Mega Pro palette. I have also been enjoying my Pro 2 palette, even though they pan fast. So I don't know, it's really kind of making me eat my words a little bit and give a second look at that Pro 2 or Mega Pro 2. So I don't know, I want to hear what your thoughts are. But as we get into it, let me give you a quick update on where I was last month with my LORAC Pro palette. And here's where I am today. We are in the home stretch. Last month was really a good push for me because I focused really hard on this palette. I mean, there are so many things that you can do to multitask shades. I mean, I was using mauve and garnet additionally as blushes on top of just being eyeshadow. You can use a lot of the lighter shades like white, cream, even nude and champagne as face highlights on top of being eyeshadow. So I've been able to really get through this palette very quickly. The shadows that I have most recently finished have been obviously espresso. I went through garnet, I went through gold. I'm currently working on light bronze, and I'm actually pairing it with brown from the Mega Pro 2 or Mega Pro palette. Can I talk today? As well as using camel and fawn in my crease area as a transition. I've really been loving it. Or the other look that I like is using what's left of pewter here to pop that into my outer V, and I make a combination with orchid and dusty plum from the Mega Pro palette to kind of be a similar version to mauve from this palette. So there's lots of things that you can do to kind of multitask, and if you're missing shades and you have the Mega Pro palette, you can pair some of them together to get very similar effects to shades from this palette to give you more of the shades that you love. So I haven't really done a lot with slate. I've worn it a couple of times with silver from the Pro 2 palette. I'm gonna wear it more and focus really, you know, in hard on this shade come probably November because I'm trying to pan this MAC Russian Red lipstick as much as I can before the 31st. So I'm down to the wire with that one. So I really haven't played too much with slate, but that's where I am with my Pro palette. I mean, I expect to finish light bronze by the end of this month. I can probably finish pewter by the end of this month if I wanted to, and if not, I'm going to go on and use it in looks paired with slate. It's going to be gone the beginning of November because, as you can see, I mean, it's down to the last couple of uses right there, and slate really isn't going to take me that long either. So that's where I am as far as my Pro palette. Then let's step into the Mega Pro palette because I'm using this to fill in my brows. I'm using it for transition shades, to set my liner. I'm using it for highlighting, all sorts of things. So this is where I am with my Mega Pro palette. Just to kind of recap, I finished Stone. It was a beautiful taupe shade that you can use for your eyebrows. Much lighter than the Espresso. I finished Espresso from my LORAC Pro palette, using it to set my eyeliner as well as to fill in my eyebrows. So that's how I'm trucking through this pan of Espresso right here. I'm doing the exact same thing. You can also see I've made huge dips in Camel and Fawn over here. I tap my brush in between the two and use it as a beautiful transition shade. And then I haven't been using this very long, but I'm using a very, very small MUA crease brush and just tapping it a couple of times in here. And then I use this in my outer V area. It makes a really pretty, neutral, everyday eye if you want to wear really bold lip. I mean, we're talking subtle, absolutely subtle eyeshadow, but you can still see some depth, especially when you pair it with these warmer shades up here. The other thing I wanted to talk about, like I said, you can multitask this palette to kind of mimic the shades that you are now out of in your LORAC Pro palette. If you go through with Orchid and Dusty Plum right here, tap your brush in between the two, you can get a very similar effect to Mauve. You can also obviously have duplicates of white, of cream. I have finished cream within the last couple of months. And then you have black. And another one that has really surprised me, I included it in my Get Ready With Me inspired by Tanya Burr, but it is this shimmery black down here called Caviar. Really, really beautiful, especially if you pair it, again, mixing the Dusty Plum and the Orchid together in your transition area. Use Caviar in your outer V and then pop a silver shade on the lid. So I've really been loving this. I'm hoping to finish. My game plan by December 31st is to have cream, white. I'd like to move out more of Camel and Fawn. I don't expect to finish them, but I'd like to move more of it out. Obviously have Stone finished. I'd like to hit Pan on Brown. I'd like to finish Espresso, and I'd like to at least hit Pan in Dusty Plum and Orchid. So that's kind of my goals, and it'd be nice to also hit Pan in the shade Lilac and Wisteria. I was kind of thinking of doing a cool tone smoky eye with Slate and these two purple colors, so I'll kind of keep you posted on how that goes. I need to post the Get Ready With Me with this, but on my Instagram one day I did have it where I was wearing these in my transition area, Slate in my outer V, and I had the Too Faced Sugar Pop palette in Strawberry Ice, I think is what the color is, all over my lid, and then I highlighted with white. So very, very easy look. I will be posting that fairly soon. Like I said, I'm trying to play catch up right now, just, you know, from being out of town and being super busy with everything going on with my family. So that's where I am with the Mega Pro palette. And then as far as the Pro 2, the color I've really been moving out and fallen in love with is the shade Buff. As you can see, I've hit some major pan in this. I'm using this as a highlight on my brow bone, the inner portion of my eye. And this also works really, really well as a face highlight. If you want something to set your concealer, or you want something that is more subtle, a matte highlight as opposed to a shimmery highlight, because I know for me, when I wear shimmery highlights, sometimes they can settle in some fine lines, they can settle in pores, it can look like a hot mess if I'm not too careful. So I've become more of a fan of matte highlights now that I'm in my 30s than I was in my 20s. So if you haven't ventured into matte highlights, try them out. You may like them just as well, if not a little bit better than shimmery. The other thing that I've kind of been going into in this palette is the shade Silver over here. Like I said, when you pull out that Mega Pro palette, the shade Caviar in your outer V with a plummy shade, it also looks really pretty if you pair Nectar and Plum with Silver and Slate. You could do a whole combination of things, but I'd really like to hit Pan in this by the time December 31st happens, because this is really going to be the shadow that I focus. Sorry, my camera cut off, but this silver shade is really going to be what I'm going to focus on, and you know, all of December as we get into the end of the year, because I think it'd be really pretty for Christmas, it'd be really pretty for holidays, getting into New Year's. So we're going to see how much I can pull out of that. And I was also kind of thinking of pairing charcoal with Slate if I want to do just a simple smoky everyday eye, pair it with a nude lip. And then the other colors I was thinking of that I'm going to be doing a get ready with me on also is the shade Chrome paired with this cool gray, because I have this lipstick, MAC lipstick called Stone, kind of a frightening color because it's so super brown. In fact, here's a swatch of it. I've really wanted to pull this out and wear it, and the colors that just strike me as perfect for it are Pewter from the LORAC Pro, that cool gray, and then Chrome from the Pro 2 palette. And then I also have this shade called Whirl that I really want to wear as far as those palettes go. And I did, spoiler alert, I did break my no-buy this month because these two lipsticks are really challenging for me to wear on my skin tone. They're not the most flattering, and when I put them on my lips, it's just, they make me look a little corpse-like. Like, just, it's not cute. I mean, I can make it work if I have a gloss or something that's a little bit more mauve on top, but you know, they look really pretty on the hand, but when you translate them onto your face, sometimes the lipsticks don't always work. So I really don't want to take these back. I want to keep them. I want to use them and love them because, I mean, it's not every day that you have shades like this, especially now with fall. And I feel like with my new haircut, it's kind of like grungy 90s style. I mean, I remember wearing haircuts similar to this back in the 90s. So spoiler alert, I went and bought the Bite Beauty lipstick in the shade Opal. Looks just plain white. I'm going to do a separate video on this because I know a lot of people are going to be curious about this lipstick, especially now that Danny from Coffee Break with Danny has talked about it. She didn't show actually using it though, so I'm sure she's going to have a lot of people that are curious. But this Opal lipstick, you can see down here, it has enough of a blue-purple opalescence, as cliche as that sounds, that when I wear it under when I wear it under Stone and Whirl, it makes them more flattering for my skin tone. So if you're like me, you're on the fair side or you're light skin tone and you're trying to wear these really matte colors like Whirl, Stone, or if you have really vampy lipsticks that are kind of intimidating to you, like if you have MAC Sin or MAC's, what is that lipstick Ashley was talking about yesterday? Starts with an F maybe? I don't even know. But, you know, you always have those lipsticks in your collection that you're kind of like, I love them, but it's just not necessarily working for me. Try something like this Bite Opal under it and see if it helps you out. Because the other thing, that the claim to fame with this lipstick is that it's going to make your teeth look really white, which again is going to help you out with shades like this that can kind of yellow your skin tone. They yellow your teeth because they're full of brown, and when you wear brown tone things, it just kind of makes you look a little sallow, a little, you know, just not as lifelike. Hence why red lipstick and other bright colors help out. So that's it for now. There's going to be quite a bit coming from me within the next couple of days because, like I said, I'm getting back on track and I need to get ready with me filmed and all that stuff. So you'll be seeing quite a bit of me. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Good luck as you continue to pan your palettes, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Bye.